So, let's go through. Remember what this is all about. This is not just a pre-Christmas giveaway, it's you've got exams coming up. So you need to learn from whatever mistakes you've made. So next time you don't make them. So, this one, probability. I said to you there'd be a probability question which wasn't Venn diagrams or tree diagrams. Most people, pretty good here. Relative frequencies. Well, the relative frequencies, they made it tricky by doing it upside down the way you need to do it. So first one, we've got 46 over 200, then 12 over 40, and 15 over 100, and 100 over 500, and you know, you convert them into your decimals. All right, which I won't bother doing. Or do you want? No. These are all quite easy to be done in your head, by the way, just in case it's a non-calculated paper. So this would be 23 over 100, which is therefore 0.23.
Oh!
This would be 12 over 40 divided by 3 gives me, 4 gives me 3 over 10, which is then 0.3. That's 0.15. And that's 1 over 5, which is 0.2. So those are your values. Now this one, a lot of people got it right. Not too many people got this one wrong though. Who has the best estimate?
The person who did the most.
Dieter. Yeah. Dieter, because he did the most trials. That's it.
Oh,
right.
I did the
Remember we said, the more I do something, the better my experimental probability.
I feel like I should get at least half or more.
Why?
Because I put his name.
Yeah, but there's no mark for that bit actually. There's only one mark. There's therefore.
If you left that blank, but you wrote because you did the most ones, would you get that right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Also, I think if you probably put the wrong name but wrote because they did the most throws, you'd probably get the mark as well. What they're looking for
this
is
rigged.
because they did the most throws.
So if you
Okay. Nothing to do with integers. Nothing to do with like, you know, that kind of thing. Right. And this one was just 0.41 times the 600, which is 246. Okay. We're going to do that. Logarithms. Some better than others though. Right. What do we do? Anyone want to talk me through it?
Oh yeah.
Go on then.
The first one, basically I just forget about the logs, and because in logs when you have a plot, when you add them together you multiply the base,
Right.
not the numbers. So I did x times 3 equals 12.
So 3x equals 12.
Oh yeah, that. And then I divided 3 on both sides. So left you with x equals 4.
Okay, so just say you can do that because log of x, log of 3, like she said, we would do log to the base 10 of 3 times x, and that equals log to the base 10 of 12, and because the logs are the same, we can just say that 3x has to equal 12. Another way to do it would be to rearrange, so you've got log to the base 10 of x equals log to the base 12 minus log to the base 10 of 3, which would be log to the base 10 of 12 over 3. Okay, and again the x has to equal 12 over 3, which is 4. Either way, the answer is 4. This one proved difficult.
I didn't really see.
So we just have to rewrite a logarithmic equation as an exponential equation. So remember, if it's log to the base 10 of x, we were talking about these, so you would do 10 to the power of 3 equals x. So therefore x is 10 to the power of 3, or 1,000. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
And then this one caught people out. So the 2 has to go up it. A lot of people got that, so I gave a mark just for getting that bit right. Right, equals. Now we could do the same thing as what Malai did, or we can do what I did. So I've got log to the base 10 of x squared equals log to the base 20 plus log to the base 10 of 5. So then we've got log to the base 10 of x squared equals log to the base 10 of 20 times 5. Right? Which basically means that x squared equals 100. Which x is then the square root of 100. Which is 10 and minus 10.
Oh, yeah. Why and minus 10?
Because minus 10 times minus 10.
No, because it's
Sorry,
a square
yeah.
root. Which means it's neither positive or negative. It can be either.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be either. Not, yeah. I don't know what I just said.
Okay.
Wait, can you repeat it?
Now actually, I'm just considering something. Maybe I've done. Right, can you do me a favour? Actually, on your calculator, I'm just rechecking my own mind something. Could you, in your calculator, do for me 2 times log to the base 10 of minus 10?
Log to the base 10 of what?
So I might have to readjust some marks.
What?
It says error.
Well, since you're not
knowledge
doing
of
it,
calculation.
don't ask why. Okay. Now,
That's why it was positive.
I'm going to have to give marks because I've just realised a mistake on my part.
Haha.
I did have an inkling yesterday when I was marking, but so the problem is actually the second value.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Right? The reason is log of x squared, log to the base 10 of x squared would be fine. Alright? But when we write it in the form 2 log to the base 10 of x, you can't find log to the base anything of a negative number.
Agreed.
I agree.
So can we give ourselves...
Why do you know that?
Because we put it in our car.
No? Think about it. So for instance,
Isn't it because even
if we
if you
do-
square root, it can't be a negative?
2 times log to the base 10 of minus 10. What are we saying? We're saying 10, if I did, let's even forget the 2. So let's say that was x. 10 to the power of x equals minus 10.
Yeah,
Is that possible?
no.
No. Right? It would have to be minus 10 to the power. So this is where one thing, a logarithm, you can't take the log of a negative number. So because this is 2 times log of x, we now know that minus 10 actually can't be. So if I took a mark off because you put minus 10, you need to add it back on.
I
If
agree.
you only put 10, then we add 1.
If you put 10 as your answer, and I said, and minus 10, I would have taken a mark off you. Alright, so put it back on. But only if I've written and minus 10 and taken a mark off. I shouldn't have done that.
It's a Christmas miracle.
End of term, sleepiness and all that. I did think about it. Didn't think about it well enough. Okay, circle theorems. Alright with these? Some better than others.
So can we go over the last one, please?
Yeah,
This is fine.
I'm going to go through each one because Alison might need to go through this. Right, angle COD. Now, at COD is that angle then. How do we go about doing it, those that did it? Because I know how I did it, and I actually worked out B first.
Yeah, because
But there must be a way of not having to do that. Because I did that. I worked out that DAC was 55. Yeah? Is that how you did it?
Yeah.
So if we know that that one is 55 because of that angle, then this one's 110 because we double it. But can you spot any way of doing that first? It must be possible.
I should do that.
What did you do?
I found the other half of the 55, like from O to C. I found that angle.
From O to C.
Because that's a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, see that's where, that's 90,
Yeah, I did that too.
which makes this
35.
35,
That's
and because
what I
this is an isosceles triangle, that's also 35. That makes that 110, and then you're supposed to half that to get the 55. So you can see how there's a couple of ways.
I just forgot. How did you find ABC?
Right, how do we find A, B, C? So that's
Opposite angles on a cyclic quadrant.
exactly. You've got to spot that is a quadrilateral.
Why was there no follow-throughs for this? Because I calculated the wrong angle here, but I still adds up to 180 altogether.
But did you show that working?
On here.
But I need you to get follow-through marks. You have to show you're working out. Because, for instance, as far as an examiner's aware, you might have just written down the wrong number. There might not have been any follow-through, so you have to show you're working to get follow-through marks. Yeah. So you get that one?
Yep.
Right. This one then. ACD. So
This is a good page,
A to C to D. That's easy, isn't it?
right?
What did we have to read? We had to read that AD is a diameter, so that means that this triangle is right angle triangle. So ACD is 90. CBD, okay, so CBD, okay, is exactly the same as CAD, therefore is 35. Bow tie one.
I have too many bow ties in this one.
I saw that.
I actually got this right.
There's like 100.
And AEC,
I just find the
This
arc
one's
between
fine.
the two.
I just crossed my fingers and didn't think I was right.
It's another bow tie.
Really?
It's
AEC,
you have to find
right?
the one.
Yeah, that's the thing. You should always check that A and C haven't been linked with something else, and they have. Okay, so I need to then think, well, this itself is a little triangle, but I haven't got that. So that's the one I'm looking for. It is the same as that one. Anything we can do? Well,
90 plus 3.
so this triangle here, like I said, is a right angle triangle. That's 35. Therefore, this one must be 55. So 180 minus 90 minus 35. Therefore, this one is also 55.
Yep. I just looked at that part.
That's why whiteout's banned. Whiteout's what I have to go through the back of the paper to see the rust. Don't white it out. But whiteout's banned. Illegal.
To me, do you remember that time that physics test? I whited out the question.
Did you? You white it out. And go, no question there. Congrats.
Get that question.
Right, this one. Leah, do you remember doing this one with us?
Yeah, and I
Didn't get it right? So we start with this one. The tip is, it's log to the base 5. So I need to first change it to something of a power of 5. And 25 is 5 squared. Okay. Then it's 1 over. So that means it's log to the base 5 of 5 to the minus 2.
I
Okay.
remember this.
This is then minus 2 times log to the base 5 of 5. And log to the base 5 of 5 is 1, so it's just minus 2.
Yeah.
Okay?
1.5563.
Okay, same as before, so this would be log to the x over 2 equals log 6, so that would be
Why did I only get a half mark?
12.
Why did I minus? I'm such a doobie person.
Why does it put commas and full stops at the end of the question?
Don't know.
Oh.
Okay, last one, tricky one, but we just have to follow the rules. So, log to the base x, therefore we have x to the power of 1/2 equals 4.
Oh.
And then we know that to the power of a half means square root of x equals 4, therefore x equals
That's
16.
That's what, because what I did was I did like 16 to the power of 4 and it didn't give me that answer. So I was like confused. Or 16 to the power of 1/2. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
16
gonna
to the
write,
power of a half is 4, yeah.
yeah, but when I did it, it didn't come up like that. So I wasn't going to write that answer.
Oh.
But then I just didn't have
But you went anyway. Okay, does they make sense then, yeah? There's nothing you're like, oh, how would I ever get that? You're, what's your
I think
issue?
it was speaking problem. 'Cause
The one that we did,
I
I just forgot how. Why doesn't it go to -2 at the top?
Because the 1 over takes whatever the power is and makes it a minus. Yes, laws of indices.
I put non.
So for instance, everyone, just to show you how everything links, 1 over 25, which is what I've got as 5 to the minus 2. Another way to do that though is just to say it's 25 to the minus 1. Yeah? But I can then put the brackets around the 25 and say 25 is 5 squared to the power of minus 1. And what do you do with powers either side of a bracket? You multiply them. So we end up with 5 to the minus 2. Okay? So that's how we've done. That, by the way, being able to do a power, change this, is very, very important.
Should we learn how to do that without a calculator?
Yes, definitely. So, for instance, I'll give you a question I've given over and over again with. I'll go back in a sec. So, give you a question I go over and over again with year 10s, and they can't doing it. So it's something like 2 to the power of p times 8 to the power of q equals 2 to the power of n. And I want n in terms of p and q, which means I want n equals something with p and q.
It's not PQ.
It's not p plus q, because you don't add powers when the base is different. That's what they all said, even though we went through the answer 3 times and they still did it in the next test. You can't just add powers when the bases are different. This gives you a clue, look, that 2, 2, but this one is 8. So you can't just add the powers. It doesn't make sense. So what we have to do is say, well, that's 2 to the power of p times 2 cubed to the power of q. Right? Which is then 2 to the power of p times 2 to the power of 3q.
So it's P plus.
So it's
Q.
p plus 3q when you add the powers. Okay? The bases have to be the same. Alright? So when we do this one, okay, the log is base 5. So I've got to look at that number, and my first thing is that I need it 5 to the power of something. Alright? Okay. This was easy enough. Some people though were a bit like, I don't know what happened.
I didn't put the thing on these other thing.
I know,
This
that's
is
so
the
annoying.
first time I understood.
So this was, right, you've got to be careful because it does say probability. So there are 6 out of 10 white balls and 4 out of 10 red balls. Now it's a different bag this time. So the second bag is 4 out of 9, 3 out of 9, 2 out of 9, and again 4 out of 9, 2 out of 9. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay. Calculate the probability that Trisha's 2 balls are white. Well, it's white followed by white, so that would be 6 out of 10 multiplied by 3 over 9, which is
18 over 90.
right. Which some of you simplified. It's fine. Don't need to. 1 white and 1 red. Well, that means white red or red white. So we've got 6 out of 10 multiplied by what was red in the second? 2 out of 9. Or, which means plus
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Times 3 out of 9.
So we've got 12 over 90 plus 12 over 90, which is 24 over 90.
I
Okay?
simplified everything.
Yeah, it's fine. Different colours. Now, so we've already got WW, which was 18 over 90. Red is, we have to work that one out, that's what they normally do. So red is 4 out of 10, so that's 8 out of 90. So I can just go straight to 8 out of 90, which in total, if I add those together, I get 26 out of 90. So different colours is then 1 minus 26 out of 90, which is
32 over 45.
64 over 90.
I did
Or
not do it
32
that
over
way.
45.
I worked the whole
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Just to be sure.
But there's both ways, isn't there? I said, it's one of those where you double the amount of work if you have to work out all of them.
Yeah.
But you can still get the right. Right. This one, vectors.
I did not get any of this.
So mad at myself.
Yeah, I think so. I think you should be a little bit.
What did I
more.
have to
Yeah,
do?
because I didn't label it.
I
Right.
don't even understand that because it was amazing.
You so understand this. The column vector half p. Well, if p is minus 3, 2, it's minus 3 over 2, 1. 3 over 2 is minus 1.5. That's all it is. Divide those by 2. Q minus 2p, well that's 4, 3 minus 2 lots of this. So minus 6, 4. So it's 4 minus 6 is 10. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Lots of people got that one right.
That's magnitude, right?
Magnitude of p, how big is it? So we do Pythagoras' theorem, so it's just
Why didn't I?
3 squared plus, what was it again? 2 squared.
You got it wrong.
I know.
Do you not get points for doing the
So 9 plus 4. So we've got, leave your answer in third form is the square root of 30.
Yeah.
How the heck?
Following
Why
that.
did I do negative?
But I did negative. And
I did negative as well.
Hold on.
Yeah, do you remember we talked about magnitudes? Well, first of all, if it was negative, you square it anyway. Yeah?
Oh.
So you should get rid of it. Also, the magnitude has no direction. So we can forget negatives, we just do the length. It doesn't matter which direction we go. Right?
I'm smart.
P plus Q. So, sorry, what's P again? Can you tell me? And Q is 4, 3. Okay, so if I want to know where B is, I just do this. So I go from A, P plus Q means go -3, 2, and then from that point go 4, 3. So that is where
I just forgot
I
to one
did.
over.
How did you get that? I added them. I just added them too.
Yeah, that's another way to do it. Just add them together and
That was the easiest way.
I almost got it right.
I was like, why is it no?
This was the
You should have labeled it.
No, but your answer is different.
But it's not.
So that is 1.
No,
5.
no.
right now this question.
So I don't care. I'm
Right, girls. This question, I didn't give anyone full marks for this. Now this must be something that it happened so long ago that you've kind of forgotten, right? Every single one of you answered question B and then went back and answered question A.
Where's question A?
I didn't do
It's
that.
because
A
I
is-
thought about it. That's
can you
why
do
I
that?
completely.
A is put the information they've given you in the Venn diagram. They have not told you at this stage to work out anything. They want this information. So,
Seriously?
yeah, complete the Venn diagram, show this information. Part B, how many like both football? So I shouldn't know yet until I get to B. Therefore, my unknown is X. This one would be 19 minus the X. Just
22.
sorry, wrong way around. 22 minus the X. Okay. And this should be 19 minus the X. And there we go. That's showing the... Now, I gave you one of the marks. I shouldn't have. Right? Because you don't know any values at the moment.
At this point, I don't even know.
But what we can do then, how many like baseball and football? Well, we then do 22 minus X plus 19 minus X plus 6 equals 40, and we get X equals 7. We've got minus X plus X, they're gone, so we end up with 22 plus 19 plus 6 is
433.
I was gonna say 3. Wait, where are we?
really? You're going to let me say 33 for 22 plus 19 plus...
You wrote it.
I forgot to say.
41.
46.
I don't know.
Oh.
I think we all know why we did.
Yeah?
Oh, they took the.
Oh no. So then you
Question mark.
So then we do X is 7, right? So then you can, if you like, go, well, that's 7, this one is 12, and this one is, what's it again? 15. Okay? So you should only put that number in
I got
after.
47 too. And I was like, maybe I should minus 40, 47 from 40. But I was like, maybe not.
Remember, sir?
I was
went home because she
So
had
what
to
about
do
it,
that.
right?
students.
I'm in 12.
Well, at least Ali, you just.
Okay. How many like either football or do not like baseball? So, who likes football
15 and 17.
or does not like baseball?
Oh.
Is it 20?
Excuse me, I did
Get it?
28.
But
I was one
but
all.
question. These 7 people like baseball.
It doesn't say that that's a problem. It says who likes football or does not like
I
baseball.
just want to
It's,
dig myself a poo.
I think for these questions you start to realise you've just got to read a bit more thoroughly, haven't you?
I could have got.
Now I tried to give some kind of follow through with this question. What did we say that was? 28?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 students are chosen at random. Find the
Are you
probability
sure it's
they
20?
both like football.
Yeah.
So, how many like football?
15.
No. 22. So, 2 students are chosen at random. Find the probability they both
See,
like.
it's definitely
Sorry.
27.
So, the first person that likes football.
15 plus it is 27.
What?
So all y'all's wrong.
Why'd you add 6 twice?
Because it.
What is it? Is that 27 or?
Never mind.
It is 20. No, it's not. She added 6 twice.
Okay.
I added 6 plus 7.
Right, find the probability that both students like football. So we have the first student would be 22 out of 40 multiplied by 21 out of 39, which gives you and you have to be careful because when I was doing the answer I did wrong first, but so what do we have? 462 over 1560, which does simplify to 77 over 260. Now, what I should have done is, if you did that but used your numbers instead of the correct numbers, so if your numbers didn't add up to 22, but it should be 40 and 39 at least, then there are follow-through marks in that way.
I had 40 and 38.
Mr. Thomas, may I use the bathroom, please?
It's just after lunch. It's perfect time. But yeah, go. I'm not carrying on. No, sorry, I'm carrying on. I'm not going to stop and wait for you. Right, one of the 19 students who likes baseball. They give you that clue. One of the 19 students who likes baseball is chosen at random. Find the probability that this student also likes football. So it should be 7 out of 19.
How did I get that right?
Now, again, they've made you think about it. 2 of the 19 students who like baseball are chosen at random. Find the probability that one likes football and one does not. So we have the first student chosen is chosen from the people that like football. The second student is chosen from people who do not like football. So that would be
That's these 6 people.
12 out of 18 now, isn't it? 12 out of 18.
Which would be.
Okay. However, it's not quite finished because.
Let me solve those 6.
Pardon?
These 6 people.
No. So it says 2 of the 19 who like baseball. Find probably one likes football. Now that means that I could do likes football first, does not like football, but I could also do does not like football followed by football. So that would be 12 out of 19 and 7 out of 18. Both the same, so this one can just be multiplied by 2, and I get the answer 168 over 342. Okay?
You definitely after I did for all.
I have 13 over 320.
I have 57.
You had a 3 in there somewhere at least, didn't you?
13 over 300.
I got a 4.
That's it. I didn't know.
Okay, this one. I tried to give you help. I tried.
Yeah, you did, but
Nah,
it
you don't need
At that point, we're supposed to also say 1, that I just didn't even.
So it says another N students taken, and they gave you the clue. They said there are now 40 plus N students. That's the clue. Then it was a student is chosen at random. It says the N students all like both football and baseball and football. Therefore, the 7 that I had before, I add N to that one as well. Okay? So if you wrote that and then equals 5 over 16, because that's what the probability is, then you get, I gave a mark.
You know, if I could have got a mark,
Now,
if it was just not dumb.
also, the truest statement has never been said, I guess.
Oh.
I'm not talking specifically about you, but I'm like.
I know, but it's relatable.
Yeah.
It's relatable.
So, by the way, I did think if you had done the middle value not as 7, if you'd found it as 5, for instance, I gave it was 5 plus n. But then you'd have ended up with a funny answer. Now, just as on a point, a couple of you, I think I know one, and I'm trying to make them feel better. Their values didn't add up to, so this has to add up to 22 and that has to add up to 19, and their answers didn't do that, which would suggest that I've done something wrong. But that person, or more than one person,
Was that you, Leah? So I'm curious.
so we've just got to be able to solve this now. Any ideas?
I don't even know what cross
Cross
it
it.
Now, I'm going to do, just to remind you, keep things consistently, I'm going to do it the long way. So, for instance, I'm going to do this by doing equivalent fractions. So I'm going to put brackets, alright? Equivalent fractions, that means I've got to make the denominators the same. So this one I'm going to multiply by 40 plus n, therefore I have to do the same. And this one I'm going to make 16 and 5. Okay? Now I have the same thing on both sides, the same denominators. Now this is the step that you have to understand to be able to do. Alright? Is that if these denominators are exactly the same, the numerators therefore have to be, I've got to stop. Two of you that are doing this, I tried to ignore the gum chewing as much as I could, but I just can't anymore.
This isn't gum.
Nicotine patch or whatever it is. Could you get rid, please? Because if someone comes in, because I can't chew.
I'm chewing on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm putting my mouth.
It's just really like.
That was a good one.
I was so ready to do it.
And you got that out.
So, the if the denominators are the same, I know just by deduction that the numerators have to be the same. So then I can just say that 5 lots of 7 plus n equals 5 lots of 40 plus n. Now you might think of that just as take the bottom and stick it up at the top, and take the bottom and stick it like that cross thing. Have I done that?
The answer
Yeah.
is 8.
No, sorry, I've done something wrong there, haven't I?
No.
That should be 16. You didn't spot that. That should be a 16. So I've got to multiply top and bottom by the same thing. Therefore, this side should be 16. Alright?
I did that and I just made it more.
So that's why people think of it as just take the bottom and cross multiply. But what we're doing is we're doing like we would always do with fractions, which is find a common denominator. What do we do now? Expand. So 16 times 7. Alright? What do we do now? Take away the 5n from both sides. So I get left with 112 plus 11n is 200. Take away the 112, so I'm left with 11n is 88.
N equals 8.
N does, in fact.
Oh my gosh, you're so smart.
Whoa.
What is that? Just this? Oh, now I'm on.
Thank you, Lord.
Now I'm on. I got it.
I wasn't told you.
What is that minus?
What do you mean? Why does the 5 go away?
No, you minus it from the 16, which gets you 11.
Oh, because I did
Oh, this is painful to
a
me.
quarter A minus a quarter B.
Right?
There you go.
Okay.
I am such. Oh, what? Oh, there's one more page.
Vectors. Okay.
I got one of these, right?
Excuse me, I have the right idea, but like, I just cannot just follow through with the right thing. What is wrong with
Remember, with vectors, you don't go directly there, you find the route that you know. So A to B. So A means I'm going A like that. So therefore it is minus A plus B, or B minus A.
A. Bigger
Why is it not minus
Since we have a
2?
question.
Because you've gone B to A, not A to B. Wrong direction. Okay. A to N. Well, what you have to realise, it says, girls, there's too much chat. What you have to realise is A to N, it says M is the midpoint and N is the midpoint of that. So therefore A to N is a quarter of A to B. Alright? So therefore that's what we do. We've worked out that. We can then get away with just writing a quarter of minus A plus B. Sorry. Quarter of.
Why not half of
So sassy, ladies.
Why not what?
A to N?
But I'm not. I've gotten half mark for that.
Well,
I
could I have done a half mark?
A to N is equal to a half
I didn't simplify that.
Excuse me.
like that.
Put it in the simplest form.
Girls,
I didn't put any brackets.
Yeah.
are you saying why can't I have that?
Yeah.
Because it's not in vector form at all. That's just no.
Has to be in terms of
Yeah, sorry, that's a bit in terms of A and B. I have to have it like that. Okay. Now I can have a quarter like that. You can do a quarter of B minus A. You can have a quarter of B minus a quarter of A. However you want to do it. All count. We don't have to expand the brackets.
You know,
Yeah,
For
we
what?
got a lot of things.
I got the bracket right.
But then the bracket was just this bit, so you've already had a mark for that.
What if I got it right but I didn't put it
I'm sorry.
Right, O to N then. Alright. What we need to realise, that O to N is following A and then it's A to N. So we've already done that, A to N. So we have O to N is A plus a quarter B minus a quarter A. Why do I keep doing that? Okay. That's a good photos.
You held things wrong.
Look, you took the back answer.
Can I see your back answer?
Come on, alright.
Well, there's your back answer.
Okay, you can follow through the final one now while we're doing it.
Can I get some water first, please?
Yeah. Now, a couple of people had that, but it does say in simplest form. So what we have is A minus a quarter A is simply 3/4 A plus a quarter B.
It's going to be a long time to write down.
Oh, I got
That's it. We just have to have it simplified.
I'm technically what I want to do.
Now, the next bit says if O is 0, 0, the origin, OA is 8, 0, OB is 2, 6. So OA was A, right? And OB is vector B. Now, ON would give you the coordinates of N. So basically what we then do is we say it's 3/4 of 8, 0 plus 1/4 of 2, 6. Right?
I feel like I did.
So that's 24 divided by 4 is 6, 0 plus 2 over 4 is 0.5. 6 over 4 is 1.5. Okay, add those together and I get 6.5, 1.5.
Wow, I feel like
I was half off.
I got one.
Once again, I think I should get a mark for that.
Depends how you got there. Because if you did it by roughly drawing a sketch on your document.
Let me add up my things again.
I think I should get a point for being pretty.
I'd definitely given you a mark if all the squares were perfect squares and you'd drawn it with a ruler and
Perfect square.
really nice.
What's the same as in drawn?
That one is perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's also not the method to use it.
It's
Okay.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah,
I would never have guessed.
Toby's looking at merits. And I really want to get my bronze.